I think the three main policies I'd want to highlight are social justice, active compassion, and then empowerment of local communities and individuals. Those are the three prime ones. Everybody pays their fair share into society, and those who need things draw out that which they need. And at the moment we have a taxation system which is more heavily weighted towards those at the bottom, paying in terms of a proportion of their income, whereas we'd want to see that changed. In particular, we'd want to see the large internet companies who are channeling monies earned in the UK out of the UK by various accounting methods. We want to see them paying 5% of their turnover, the UK turnover, as tax, with that money going into the health service and other such facilities, such welfare facilities, and thus alleviating some of the burden from those who are struggling to make enough money to feed their families. The recent film Daniel Blake, we would like to see an end to that sort of society. So where somebody needs emergency benefits, where they're 2 or 3 minutes late for an appointment or whatever, there should be emergency benefits in place. And that would then go slightly further in terms of the existing test, able to work. Yes, people should be back in work, they get more money that way, but the able to work policy being replaced by able to work in a job which is suitable for that applicant, so that they can do the job, they earn the money, but they're not penalised by being asked to do a job which they're incapable of doing. The key element of this is making sure that power is devolved down to the lowest level at which it can properly be utilised. And therefore, if, for example, it's national defence, yes, that has to remain at the state level. But where there are elements in terms of housing, those are already devolved down to local communities. But it's perfectly feasible for them to be devolved down further. So, for example, local volunteer groups, I set one up down in Southwark some years ago to actually help build houses to enable people, to empower the individuals who are going to live in those houses to actually build them, getting new skills as well as getting additional confidence. So it's ensuring that power goes right the way down to the lowest possible level. So let's take, for example, delivery of National Health Service. There's an ideological divide as to whether it should be done by the private sector or by the public sector. We're not concerned about who does it, or what we're concerned about are the outcomes. And there'll be some elements where the public sector can be more effective, some areas where the private sector can be more effective, some areas where the voluntary sector can be more effective. And there needs to be an integrated approach between all sectors so there is an effective delivery, so that it increases the outcome for patients, increases patient care, increases longevity of life, using the resources in the most effective and best ways, rather than having a meaningless discussion about an ideological divide. The policy of reconciliation is about ensuring people or nations can live together in harmony, which may sound a grand aim, but let's take, for example, the Brexit talks at the moment, where they seem to be going on a win-lose basis, I win, you lose, where it's perfectly feasible for them to be approached in a win-win basis. But that needs to be done in a spirit of reconciliation between the two sides. Or one could look at it on a local level, think in terms of restorative justice, where the victim and the perpetrator are encouraged, but only if they wish, to come together. And they can actually discuss, the victim can explain how the crime has had an effect upon them, and the perpetrator can understand the effect they've had. And where that has been tried, where it has been used, it has been found to cut the rates of reoffending. So the concept of reconciliation, whether it's on a personal level or on a national level or anywhere in between, is actually a very, very powerful tool to developing a much fairer, much juster society. Respect for life, again, it covers everything from the personal right the way through to the national. So let's look at the national level first, and we would scrap the renewal of Trident. The initial cost of the submarines we would put into the cost that the NHS needs for its improvements over the next 5 to 10 years. And then the running cost of Trident could be used to enhance the running costs of the National Health Service. But not just the national level, but also the local level. So we are opposed to euthanasia. We believe people should have a right to live their lives for their full life, and we are also opposed to abortion. We would look to repeal the 1967 Act bit by bit, and in particular those members of the National Health Service who have to participate in abortions, not just the surgical procedure itself, but in preparation for abortions, they would have a right to opt out, which they do not currently have.